Today, we would like to present the topic about the logistics affected during COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia. The COVID-19 pandemic continues and spreads around the world. In addition, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed many of our daily activities as consumers and limited the way businesses operate. Many countries have also introduced entry and landing restrictions on flights, ships and passengers from Malaysia. The transportation volume of railways, roads, marine ways and civil aviation are greatly reduced due to the city closure and the temporary closure of factories in many places in Malaysia. In this study cases, we will provide the logistics problem and their solution under this COVID-19 pandemic, such as air and sea freight limitations, fluctuating demand, geographic risk issue, and last issue inventory management in Malaysia. Air and sea freight limitations has reduced the export volume of many countries and contributed to the gradual decline of the national economy. The freight business was the first to be impacted by the pandemic, as countries were put on lockdown. On a typical trip, the lower carrier typically carries just a tiny percentage of the cargo of most passenger airplanes. However, the market has had to deal with a scarcity since all aircraft have been grounded and most flights have been cancelled. However, the way to solve this problem, which is, most airlines can converted their passenger flight to cargo flights at this time. This is done in order to maintain high earnings while also providing job possibilities for some individuals. Companies like DHL are already employing charter flights to and from China since the capacity of their planes to carry cargo in the cargo bay has been limited due to decreasing passenger traffic. Passenger planes are also used to transport goods. Because 60% of the air capacity between China and Europe has vanished. Another issue of COVID-19 pandemic is Malaysian consumers' fluctuating demand issue. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed the consumption habits of Malaysian consumers. The Malaysian consumers' market demand for other commodities has declined dramatically, in addition to personal protective equipment, PPE, and daily necessities. The sudden increase or decrease in demand for a certain product or service can lead to the breakdown of the supply chain. The solution to solve these problems is companies who has ability can invest in technology to realize intelligent logistics. In this way, companies in Malaysia can find out countermeasures to solve the risk before it occurs. Let the supply chain achieve a high degree of transparency, full visibility, and intelligent monitoring of supply chain risks. Companies in Malaysia should promote the digitization and networking of the supply chain process, develop towards the smart supply chain, and promote the efficient allocation of resources and the precise matching of supply and demand. Geographic risk is one of the other issues to impact in product manufacturing, distribution and sales of product in Malaysia during COVID-19 period. It affects the logistic and supply chain industries. The airline and maritime transport are the important mean of transportation between Malaysia with other countries. However, they have been affected seriously in this pandemic period. Such as lack of container quantity, they cannot meet customer demand, the lockdown policies and so on. There are three solutions provided to solve these geographic problems. Firstly, airline embrace in cargo way. Secondly, suppliers' cooperative efforts. Lastly, it is implementation of mitigation and emergency plans. These solutions may provide the positive impact and help in product manufacturing, distribution and sales of product in Malaysia during COVID-19 period and solve the geographic risk for the moment. The last issue, which is inventory issue. As we can see, the COVID-19 pandemic has bring a great impact to the inventory management in supply chain. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to the supply and demand loose balancing. For example, we can see that in the early of pandemic, the demand of some product like mask, sanitizer, and bread has increased a lot. And with the implement of MCO, the supply is far less than the demand. This has led to a shortage of these products for a time. Beside, a lot of shop cannot open during MCO also has led to retailers stuck a lot of product in the warehouse, which cause inventory excess. In order to solve the inventory shortage issue, they may update the inventory policy and schedule parameters, because the previous data of forecast the demand is not suitable for current situation already. Apart from that, through to build a good relationship with supplier, might also can quickly obtain additional inventory from alternative suppliers when facing shortage of inventory. Last, to reduce the excess inventory, retailer can consider using e-commerce as a sales channel for their products, because during MCO people will most likely to purchase online. Thanks for your watching and have a nice day.